Welcome to the ChristiTutionalist Politics Show. Over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a listener that I can barely begin to express how much I appreciate from the bottom of my heart you being here. As I know you have a lot of options. As Listen Notes, the podcast platform says, there are about 168.9 million plus podcasts you could choose from. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me, as indeed it is just me on the podcast outside, at least for the initial episodes. All substance, no muss, no fuss, no fluff, no fancy or flashy high production inserts or intro, just straight to the key discussion points. A show that will look at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian United States constitutionalist lens, hence, obviously, the ChristiTutionalist Politics title. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard. The last name is spelled L-E-N-A-R-D, like most pronounce Leonard, but without the O, an author of a very non-traditional but Christian, nonetheless Christian book, co-host of Savaged Unfiltered podcast, and for purposes of this show, most notably a blogger for thelibertybeacon.com, from which most of the content for the show will be derived. These are not going to be long, drawn-out episodes. I just want something short for you to be able to tune into, get the highlights, food for thought. You can then delve deeper into via my online articles and reach your own conclusion. And as Graham Norton would say on his late night talk show, let's get on with the show! Today, we are going to talk about part 2 of remembering our freedoms and our rights and those who fought and still fight some to defend them and preserve them, and how we all need to restore our American Republic, get it back to the Constitution where we belong. The Supreme Court just gave us a few constitutional rulings. However, sadly, a couple of those cases should not have even need to be heard. Colorado Baker's case from a few years ago should have settled the website case they did this time, that you cannot be compelled to speak. You cannot be compelled to verbalize or write someone else's message. You cannot be coerced or forced by another citizen or the government, especially. Compelled speech. I wrote on thelibertybeacon.com months ago about that, an article about free speech and yelling fire in a crowded theater. Remember that old farce? That was always a farce and a bad argument. Yelling fire in a crowded theater is not a matter of speech. It's not opinion. It is either fact or fraud. If you yell fire and cause a panic where there is none, you get charged with fraud. That's not a First Amendment issue. You committed a fraud. You unrest. You caused civil unrest. You can be charged for that. So the yelling fire in a crowded theater was always a stupid argument. Don't make it. Or if you do, you have the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, on how it isn't applicable. Opinion is protected. And I wanted to mention that because the Colorado case should have taken care of it. The website case would have been unnecessary. And the other one is the affirmative action case. There was a University of Michigan case years ago that affirmative action was brought up. They made a limited scope ruling because idiot Chief Justice Roberts tries to moderate the court and get limited scope rulings rather than the broader constitutional issues that it is their bleeping job to determine. They failed to do it the last time, so it came up again now, which is ridiculous because there are so many other cases that could be heard, should be heard, need to be heard, but they had to waste their time on these because they didn't do their job the last time. You can find Before It's News piece from me at J. Leonard Detroit there, but I created a shortcut. You could go to tinyurl.com/SCOTUS 2023 rulings. So again, tinyurl.com/SCOTUS 2023 rulings. And of course, that will be in the show notes. But today is part 2 of remembering and fighting for our freedoms. There's the key. As Reagan said, freedom is but one generation away from extinction. This is a ChristiTutionalist politics podcast. I've got the Taking the Rainbow Back shirt on, quoting Genesis and Revelation about the Rainbow Alphabet Mafia's fake 6-color rainbow trying to displace God's true 7-color rainbow and his message to us with it, and the rainbow around the throne. So they are trying to displace and co-opt and corrupt the rainbow. But that's a bit of an aside. You shall be known by your fruits is where I was going with all this. That means you get off your butt. It doesn't mean virtue signal, whine, moan, complain online, and think you've done anything. You will reap what you sow. But that implies the very fact that you have to sow something in order to reap it. And as the Rush rock group song says, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Or in this case, you're allowing others to sow what will yield rotten fruit that then we are all stuck eating. That sums a lot up in a nutshell. There is another Before It's News piece, also a companion piece at thelibertybeacon.com. You could go either place. Thelibertybeacon.com. I go under the full name Joseph M. Leonard. And again, if you're newly tuning in, it looks like Leonard. It's not French, it's Leonard, but without the O. You could put that in the search field at thelibertybeacon.com and find an older piece there, or at beforeitsnews.com. Will real Christians save America? And by real Christians, I mean, I was born and raised Catholic. Biden, Pelosi are not Catholic. You cannot be for the wholesale slaughter of innocent children in the room, anytime, any place, any reason, by anyone with a coat hanger, and claim you're a Christian, let alone a Catholic or a Protestant or a Methodist or a whatever. Okay, I'm not trying to single out one sect over another, but the Christianity label as a whole. Will real Christians save America? That means known by your fruits. You get off your butt and do things that matter, like becoming a Republican Party delegate so that you fight inside the party. You can't scream, moan, whine at the players on the field and the coaches, scream at the umpires, yell at the cheerleaders, and think anything is getting done. You have to suit up, put on the armor of Christ, and get on the field of battle and fight. Figuratively, of course, we're speaking here, not literally. We're not talking about violence here. So, of course, hello, FBI. I'm talking figurative fighting in the streets, verbal battle, a battle of ideas. We must restore our American Republic, all that the 4th of July was about. But sadly, no one's willing to fight to keep their freedoms. So many people fought and died for us to have what we have. Yet so many people, like I discuss in Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You, my book, I have my character Martin say, he says, so many people in this nation hate it, the very nation that allows them, affords them everything they have. If you don't like it here, if you want socialism, go over there. Go where your preferred government is. It's a heck hole over there, right? And spare us the bull. Oh, communism, fascism, socialism, they're okay if we do it. We'll do it the right way, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which I'll be mentioning in a future thelibertybeacon.com piece about let's all go to the lobby, get ourselves some snacks and politics. In that movie, Rocket says about the evil villain, he promised perfection. He just hated things the way they are. There's no such thing as perfect, and no politician is going to be your savior. They need our help. It doesn't matter who you elect. They can't do it by themselves. They need us fighting, figuratively, in the streets to help them accomplish the goals we set for them and us. Rocket says that about him. He promised perfection. He just hated things the way they are. He, like every communist, fascist, socialist, any and every tyrant, promises some utopia. No, they just want to be ruler over the imperfection. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, as the Who song would say. But I wanted to talk today about the Nextdoor app. There is an app called Nextdoor. On Nextdoor, someone was complaining about someone doing fireworks early. Obviously, clearly outside of whatever local, city, county, state ordinances allow for. I said I can relate and sympathize to a degree, but they weren't clear. It is entirely possible the fireworks display happening around midnight, which is not much past beyond like the 11 o'clock cutoff most ordinance call for and allow to. It could have been a city display. We have Southgate Heritage Days. I'm in Wyandotte. Wyandotte has fireworks. They go long, they go late. These cities, counties, states, the federal government especially FASCICRATs, look at Hunter Biden. Rules for you, not for them. Hunter Biden committed a felony gun charge. That gets washed away. But if it were you or me, we'd be locked up forever. So rules for thee, but not for me, is the FASCICRATs' tyrant motto. Regarding these fireworks, no one I know wants anarchy, total anarchy. No rules, no laws, every man, woman, and child for themselves. So that brings us to the need for some government, limited government that most of us believe in and call for. So we must discuss the political spectrum. Another thing the left lies about, twists, distorts. They try to call those of us on the right Nazis or fascists. Well, on the right side of the scale is anarchy. No government whatsoever. That's clearly not fascism. On the left is all those things: communism, fascism, socialism, monarchy, total government. So you have the spectrum: far right, absolutely no government; far left, all consuming and power and control, dictatorial down from the government. That's the left. Fascism is a left, not a right political spectrum.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, my name is Ed Bondarenka, and I host Your American Heritage on Saturdays at 2 in the afternoon on this station. Your American Heritage is a show about the struggle we find ourselves in and how to react to it in the light of our biblical and American heritage. Listen to it while you're working around the house, the garage, cleaning the guns, walking the dog, driving, or just lazing around. Join me at 2 o'clock Saturdays here on Wham Radio, 1600 AM, 92.7 FM.
God bless America.
Anarchy far right. Our founders originally created the Articles of Confederation, somewhat from the right, but moving left. That didn't quite work, so then we had the convention and moved a little further left from that, but still nowhere near the middle of the spectrum, to the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, God-given rights. A constitutional republic, not a democracy, a republic that our God-given rights are sovereign to us, and a constitution that limits the power of the government that unfortunately over the last 150 years has been destroyed. And I'll get to human nature in a minute. But there is no difference. Let's talk about that left side of the scale. Communism, fascism, socialism, total control. It's not like the 1930s. The fascists in Germany were fighting the communists in Germany, backed by Russia. Russian communists against German fascists. They were fighting each other. Today, there's really no difference. Communism, fascism, socialism, it's all the same thing now. Times change. They're all only interested in being the ruling elite over the imperfection, as I previously said. What difference is there in a socialist communist nation that directly owns a corporation and the government directly runs the corporation, like happened in Venezuela when the commies took over there? They nationalized the corporations, took over direct control. That's communism and pure socialism, but mainly communism. Fascism is regulation. Oh, we give you the illusion of having a choice. Let's pretend you're free. But guess what? Strings attached. We get to regulate you. We dictate what you can do, but as long as you're following our dictates, you get to still pretend to own and operate that company. How is there any difference there, really, people? Please, the Overton Window. If you're old enough and you used to watch Glenn Beck on Fox News, back when he was on Fox News, the Overton Window, you've heard of it. For those of you who haven't, the Overton Window is regarding the political spectrum and the natural human nature tendency to be lazy, to be complacent, to just kind of go along to get along. So while we focus on our individual pursuit of happiness, there are others who their happiness means they want to lord over you. They seek power and control, and our laziness, our complacency lets them get away with it. So that Overton Window moves further and further to the fascist left. Unless we get off our butts and stop it, roar, restore our American republic. The next thing is the FASCICRATS. Look at the Democrat National Platform today. There are literally 28 planks of the National Socialist Deutschland Arbeiter Party, the Nazi Socies, as Joseph Goebbels coined them, and we shortened it to just Nazis. 28 planks in today's Democrat platform. Don't take my word for it. Trust, but verify, as Reagan once said. Correct? Look it up. Not Google, DuckDuckGo. Find an actual copy of the Nazi platform and today's Democrat platform and look at them. Throw in the Communist Manifesto in there too. Because again, I say, there's really no difference between the communists and the fascists, except for one wants to directly own and control, and the other one does it through the power of the barrel of the governmental gun to dictate how you run your company. No real difference there. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Sure, the DNC uses very different language to try to hide and disguise things. Now, the two most obvious ones are gun control. The other, socialized medicine, which has nothing whatsoever to do with your health. It's about power and control and coercion. If the government controls healthcare and Obamacare was a stepping stone, look at the videos. You can still find them. They've said it themselves. Obamacare was a stepping stone. It was meant to fail so they can bring in Medicaid for all. They'll call it Medicare for all. Medicare is an entitlement that you pay into through your paycheck. They're talking Medicaid for all. Complete government-funded, government-run, government control, where they get to come to you. John Q. Public, we'd really like to help your wife with that cancer diagnosis and get her the cancer drug she needs, but we're going to need some favors. We need you to tone down that anti-government rhetoric, all those things about your rights and you being sovereign and that 10th Amendment thing. You've got to give that stuff up. This is a federal fascicrats nation now. That's what it's about. Power, control, coercion. And sadly, so many people didn't learn that. But again, yes, today's left, the fascicrats, use different language to disguise what they're talking about. But you can see it all if you study Alinsky, or you study Cloward and Piven. You study Hillary Clinton's own thesis on Saul Alinsky and their praise for Margaret Sanger and eugenics, which socialized medicine leads to euthanasia. You're not with us. Oh, you're too old. We're just going to give you a pill to help you kill yourself rather than the pills you need to cure yourself, which is happening over in Canada. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. It's happening. These are facts, not snowflake feelings. Even though the left refuses to deal in facts and easily evidenced, easily confirmable information I've given you here today. Look it up, put it in front, print it out, put it in front of a leftist that you know, and watch them hem and haw and probably go to the line, well, we don't really intend to do it that way here. Again, the old line, communism really hasn't been done right. We're better. We're smarter. Our elites will do better than Stalin and Lenin and Putin and Xi. They're no different. Again, it's just all an excuse for their power and control to lord over you. Read Saul Alinsky. Study Cloward and Piven. Articles will be included in here, including the link to the Liberty Beacon piece, Remembering Our Freedoms and Rights, Part 2, as well as a link to Abolitionist Roundtable of Michigan, Wham Radio, Saturdays, 9 a.m. You can go to whamradio.com, hit the Listen Live link, listen all day Saturday. A lot of great shows there. All new material, not reruns like most stations run. Real, live, conservative talk. But I want you to come here, of course, for ChristiTutionalist politics talk. But ART on July the 1st, I was on the show. I was a caller, Joe from Wyandotte, and we discussed some of these related issues. So that's worth tuning into that delayed podcast of today's, as I'm recording this actually today, Saturday, July the 1st. With that, we're going to end it. I think we've covered, oh, no, actually, I'm sorry. There is indeed one other thing. As I look down at my notes, as I said, this is going to be an unscripted show, but I do have notes, and I wrote down a note, Antifa tactic. What do I mean by that? Why am I questioning that? Why am I bringing them up? The political spectrum. Antifa says they are anti-fascist. That is hilarious. So hilarious. They are literally the Hitlerian brown shirts of the 30s, the El Duce black shirts of Italy 1930s, violence in the street. They are literally out there beating and maiming and burning down cities against those who disagree with their desire to bring a fascicrats one-party rule in this nation. And just because they call themselves anti-fascist doesn't mean they are. And just because they may use tactics that are associated with anarchists, which is the farthest right you can go, no government. They're all for government, more government, big government, complete government control with them in charge. Just because they use anarchist tactics doesn't mean the nightly news, as they are wrongly are doing, calling them anarchists. It's all part of the left-wing media, media, as I call them, propaganda and false narratives and spin. Let's pretend Antifa are anarchists when they are, again, like the KKK was, created from the Democrat Party, so too is Antifa, a political, violent arm of the Democrat Party to beat and silence, try to censor when the online cancel culture peacefully doesn't work, and they can't shut you up, they can't shut me up, they want to do it violently. You can see it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. I hope I've been able to put a lot of this all into perspective, things I think you already knew, something though that we needed to resurface and talk about and spread to others that don't know what's going on. Thank you all for tuning in. As said at the top of the show, 168.9 million plus podcast episodes are out there recorded that you could tune into. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. Take care. God bless. And consider getting a TakeTheRainbowBack.com shirt with the 7-color God's rainbow, not the 6-color co-opted and corrupted rainbow alphabet mafia one with Genesis 9:16 and Revelation 4:3 on it, to say you are going to do that. You are standing up for God's rainbow, not the corrupt version. Also go to savagedarmy.com, get your Roar shirt, Restore Our American Republic. If you're going to go to Target that we're boycotting, maybe not boycott them, but walk around the store, just don't buy anything, with a shirt with a right side message, a ChristiTutionalist message, that we are going to take back this republic. We are going to take back the rainbow. Let people know. Get some pamphlets from Taking the Rainbow Back about what's really at the end of the rainbow pamphlet you can get from Rabbi Schneider, who started the TakingTheRainbowBack.com, a Messianic Jew. So he's part of the Jews for Jesus crew, a Messianic Jew. If anyone doesn't know what that is, there's your homework for next week, okay? Go into Target, and where they're selling pedophilia to children clothing, put a pamphlet down. Because Target had been selling gay pride stuff. Other people have been selling gay pride stuff for decades now. It hasn't been an issue until now. They are engaging in grooming and pedophilia. That is a red line, too far, shall not be crossed, and we must send the message. Take care. God bless. Thank you for having tuned in for ChristiTutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you, or autographed copies are available online direct from me via terrorstrikes.info/shop. And please tune in to Savage Unfiltered podcast, of which I am a co-host. And be sure to check out more about today's discussion at thelibertybeacon.com, where my articles drop every Saturday. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. Indeed, just me on the podcast side end of things. All substance, no fluff. No fancy high production intro or inserts, at least yet, just straight to key discussion point. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, as I know you have over 168.9 million plus podcasts out there you could choose from. Thank you again so much for tuning into mine. Take care. God bless.
It is a myth that terrorism stopped during COVID. Unfortunately, mainstream media opted to prioritize pandemic hysteria over promoting all news. Terrorism continues. Simply hoping that it doesn't affect you is not a strategy. The new book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you, featured on The Author Show, is now available in paperback from bookstores, online, or as an ebook exclusively through Amazon Kindle. Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you by Joseph M. Leonard. Order today.